Hey everyone, welcome to Steph and Key TV. Please like, comment, and subscribe and let me know what you thought of today's video. All right, Orange County, let's get into it. So we're at Emily's house. She is getting ready to throw a party, a beach party at Elizabeth's house. She's hosting it, but they're going to be having it at Elizabeth's beach house because it's on the beach. And Gina stops by, they go and have some drinks, and they start talking about Shannon because, Emily tells Gina that Shannon's pissed at her because she's not following up with her and checking in on her. And Gina's but wait a minute. All I do is sit on the phone and listen to Shannon pour her heart out, and talk about how horrible her relationship is, and then it's great, and then it's horrible, and then it's great, and it's like a mess. And I'm constantly having to listen to her and her problems and her issues, and it's never enough. But she never calls to check on me and see how I'm doing and listen to my problems and my relationship and ask me about my day. So it's just very one-sided, and we've seen this before with Shannon and Tamara's relationship. How like Tamara was just like, she never checks in on me, but she'll call me like 6-7 times a day and talk to me about her problems and her issues, and it's just like draining. So I can understand because I have been in friendships like that before where it's very one-sided, and I'm just generally a quiet person and I don't talk a lot. You might be surprised, even though I'm talking a lot in this video. But I have been in friendships where we'll get on the phone and they'll tell me everything about what's going on with them and just talk, and I'm just quiet and I'm a listener, and they'll never ask me how I'm doing. And so I feel like sometimes just people just get wrapped up in themselves, especially Shannon. She seems like a very selfish, self-centered person, and that's just how it is. And she just expects you to be that friend who's going to listen to her and be there no matter what. And she just generally doesn't have time to listen about your problems. So I think Gina is getting fed up and she's about to let Shannon have it. So we're at Shannon's house. They're having a little dinner with the girls and John. Just a little celebratory dinner for Sophie before she goes off to college. This is very reminiscent of Real Housewives of Atlanta because Candy's daughter Riley is going off to college, and it's very much like the same, like the packing days leading up to it, and it's almost time for her to go. And Shannon gives a toast just saying, you've accomplished so much, you went through all these hardships, and it's just such a great thing for you to be so strong and overcome adversity with like missing out on prom and your debutante ball and graduation. So it just gets really depressing and then comes back up on a high note. I mean, most kids going off to college during this pandemic just didn't get all of those things, and it really sucks. It really does. I feel bad for them because just to miss out on those like monumental events that you'll never get again. So I mean, I feel bad for them, and I just hope that their college experience goes really well so that it kind of like makes up for all the stuff that they missed. And yeah, I'm sure like Sophie is happy to get away from Shannon, but she does say that Shannon's a really good mom and she's gonna miss her, so that's nice. Okay, so I generally try not to talk about Kelly in the reviews because I just don't like her. And but I thought it was interesting just to see her dynamic with Rick, I believe. They're very competitive, which reminds me a lot of me and my husband because we're very competitive when it comes to games. And it's interesting to see the similarities with the weddings going on between Atlanta and Orange County. Like they're leading up to their wedding, but they are making the smart decision to have a smaller ceremony with just a small group of people and then have the big shebang afterwards. And I feel like that makes a lot more sense. I wish Cynthia did that. Like, how are you going to let Kelly be the reasonable one when it comes to this wedding? Like, it's so unfortunate. But she talks to Rick about Bronwyn not responding to Elizabeth's invite to the beach party. And it just seems like Bronwyn's, I mean, every episode she's being a snot. I don't know why she has an issue with Elizabeth. we're getting along, so it's just strange that all of a sudden she's not talking to her, not responding to her, and doesn't want to have anything to do with her. So we'll see. So Elizabeth is in therapy, which is great, and she's just discussing her trauma and what it's like for her to be around people. She feels like she either has to tell them everything all about her life, or she has to over exaggerate some things. So she either is lying or she's telling all of her business, and she feels like these are the ways that she can put a wall up and protect herself, and she just doesn't know how to have real relationships with people because she feels like they're always judging her and thinking that she's weird because of her past and what she's been hiding. And I think the therapist tried her best to like help her like really get Elizabeth to work on her finding out who her true self is and break down these walls and really find out like who she is, and so she doesn't have to keep putting up a facade or a show or spending money or telling everybody all her business just to get people to like her and accept her. So hopefully she can work on that. It's gonna take a lot of work. Anytime you deal with trauma, especially trauma so deep, it's definitely going to take a lot of work, and I hope that her family supports her and doesn't disown her for speaking out about what they went through with that religious cult. Everyone's getting ready for Emily's beach party. Shannon is getting literally taped into her outfit. Bronwyn and her friend Shari are helping Bronwyn get ready in this very scantily clad outfit, and Sean comes in. They barely acknowledge him. He's just the chauffeur. I guess he's supposed to be taking her to the party, and Shari's going to be waiting for her at home. Just like, so Bronwyn says they need to have some conversations, her and Sean. They really do. I'm tired of talking about this. So all the ladies show up to Emily's / Elizabeth's party, and Shannon brings some fun masks. Her says Una Amiga because of what Kelly said to her earlier this season. Bronwyn says cheers to good choices, which I really liked. And Gina's was not sad or depressing. And I think Elizabeth's was the richest bitch in Newport Beach. And now they're like cheersing, they did the photo booth. Now they're cheersing, having some drinks. And Gina and Bronwyn are off to the side because Bronwyn's sober and Gina's being supportive. So Bronwyn tells Gina that she's going to be an alcohol and drug addiction counselor. I think that's great to pay it forward and give back. I don't know if I'd want Bronwyn as my counselor. I hope that she does help a lot of people though, but she just seems like, whoo. Yeah, but I mean, I guess we can't judge. She could actually be a much better counselor than she is a housewife, so we'll see. They are off to the beach setup, and Elizabeth and Kelly are talking about Bronwyn. They heard rumors that Sean moved out and Shari moved in. And I think, yeah, that did really happen in real time, that Sean did move out and Bronwyn was living with Shari for a while. And I think Sean is moved back in. Who knows why, but I think the rumors are true. So Shannon, Emily, and Gina are walking up to meet the rest of the ladies, but they stop and talk because Emily says that Bronwyn's been talking about your relationship, and she tells her about the little golf tournament thing. Shannon says that never happened. John doesn't play golf. He doesn't even watch it, so we don't know. And then they just start talking about Shannon's relationship. They're just like, we don't know what's going on. You get really drunk and you tell us you're in a horrible relationship, and then you're sober and you're like, everything's fine. And Shannon is just like, well, I built up this fairy tale in my head, which she did because of her horrible relationship with David, that now she feels like this relationship has to be perfect. It has to be the best thing ever to make up for that horrible relationship. But it's not. It's just a regular ass relationship. It's not a fairy tale, and she's having a hard time dealing with that. And so It's so much pressure that anytime any little thing goes wrong, she freaks out and it's a big deal. And then she gets really drunk. She says all these horrible things. And when she's sober, like Emily says, it's like you regret telling us all of this stuff. So you have to make it like everything's perfect and it's fine. And when it's just not, you're just having a regular ass relationship and you have ups and downs and you just got to roll with it and not make it bigger than it really is. Kelly's coming in hot. She asks Bronwyn how Rowan is doing. Bronwyn's like, she's doing great. And then all of a sudden Kelly snaps and she's like, well, Gina made it seem like she's not doing so great. You like talk to Gina, like you pick certain people who you talk about your situation with, and then you don't talk to the rest of us. And Bronwyn's like, well, you never call me to see how I'm doing. And Kelly's like, I do call you. You never call me. You make no sense. And then she's just going off, and I feel like it's about to go down. So Kelly is really going at Bronwyn, calling her like a liar, you're a hypocrite, like you make no sense. And so all the girls finally sit down. They're like, what's going on? And Kelly's like, Bronwyn like is full of it, and Bronwyn's like, whatever, you can ask me anything, I'm an open book. Elizabeth says, well, like Emily jumps in and says, well, Elizabeth told us that she sent you this really long text and all you responded was thanks. So then we get the clip of Elizabeth showing them the text. It's like really long, and she says she just responded back the next day, thank you. And then so Bronwyn jumps in and she says, did you tell them that you called me a liar and I was using my children to check in on you? And Elizabeth says no. Elizabeth, in her confessional, tries to justify it as, well, I had like a past where I dealt with these issues like alcoholism, abandonment. And so when I see Bronwyn, which she feels like Bronwyn is doing the same thing, it triggers her. So Bronwyn says, I had to set boundaries. You said that nasty stuff about me, so I took a step back. And then Gina says, well, you also dug up dirt on her, so like you're no angel. And then, of course, Shannon is going to jump in because it's Shannon. So now Shannon's jumping in and saying, like, you know, you, Bronwyn, said that you lied all last year. Bronwyn said it was about the alcoholism. Shannon's like, well, I don't know because I didn't dig up the research about it, but you dug up research about Elizabeth. And they're all like, well, shit, Bronwyn told us you were the one who told her to do it. And she's like, wait, what? And Shannon's like, well, all I said was like, we went on a hike, you all said she was full of it, and I said, well, what's the rumor? And then Bronwyn told her the rumor. So I feel like probably Shannon did plant some seeds, but it doesn't seem like she told her directly to, hey, go research it, but she probably did. I mean, it's Shannon. Emily starts talking about, well, like, we just don't know about you, Elizabeth, because there's been so much lying, so many different stories. Bronwyn jumps in, is like, hey, Elizabeth, did you ever look into therapy? Elizabeth says she's going to therapy now. They get distracted by dolphins in the water. All of a sudden, everyone's like, Shannon, you look great. How do we go from, like, yelling, screaming, hot mess to, like, Shannon, you look great? The dolphins saved the conversation. They saved the party. Elizabeth was like, I was trying to get Vince Neil from Motley Crue for Shannon's birthday. And she's like, do you want me to call him up now? Because I guess through her music company, she knows a lot of celebrities. So she tries to call Vince. Shannon freaks out. It turns out to be like the wrong number and completely embarrasses her in front of everyone. And it's just like, I feel like she is still trying to do the same thing, like get people to like her with her money, and it didn't even work out this time. So it was like really embarrassing. And Emily is like, you are full of it. And then Kelly jumps in and she's like, what, you want her to cry? I kind of feel the same way. Like, I've kind of like let it go of like mid-season till now because she hasn't been as bad. But like at the beginning of the season, Emily was a bit of a bully, and I feel like it's coming back. She's a little nasty, and I don't like it. So then, to take the heat off Elizabeth, Kelly jumps in, and she's like, well, I mean, give her some slack. I try to ask Bronwyn questions, and she doesn't answer me. And then I feel like Emily goes back from being the bully to the reasonable person, and they jump in. They're like, what is going on with your relationship? And Bronwyn's just like, well, we have a lot of big stuff going on. That's why I haven't been talking about it, but we need to work on our marriage. We made a commitment to work on our marriage. And they're like, what does that mean? She's like, well, I need Sean to go to therapy. He's in therapy. He needs to go to Al-Anon, and he needs to be off his phone more. And they're like, okay, so then what does Sean want from you? It's probably for Shari not to be around. And she's like, yes, but I need her around. They're like, but you want to recommit to your marriage. Why don't you kick her out so you guys can be focused on each other? And she's like, well, I need her there. And they're like, okay, so you want him to do these things, but you won't make the sacrifice. And they're like, isn't that kind of selfish? And she was like, I need to be selfish right now. I feel like, and I agree with Emily, Bronwyn's always been selfish. Everything she does is to serve her needs. Like, when has she not been selfish? This whole time that we've seen her on Real Housewives of Orange County, everything was for her, to fit her needs, to satisfy her, to make sure that she's okay. It's always like, you want everyone to make sure that you're okay, but you're not willing to make the sacrifices. You're not willing to bend a little. It's like always about them having to do stuff to make you feel better. She's very selfish. Kelly and Bronwyn are just getting into it. They both are not listening to each other or seeing each other's side. It's whatever. Shannon tries to lighten the mood by showing everybody her taped up stomach. Bronwyn gets the phone call, saved by the Sean. So she goes to meet him. He walks back with her, and she's complaining about the situation. All of the husbands show up. Shane starts walking. He's like the last one. And they're like, who is that? If he's short. Emily's like, if he's short, it's Shane. And it was him. She goes to like sit in the chair for the Instagram thing and falls over. Shane, of course, doesn't help her up. Because he's like, if she's laughing, she's fine. So then they're all like crowding around to do their last like little toast thing. This is such a weird way to end the season. I really hope they shake up the cast next season because it's so needed. So for Gina's closing thing, like closing little housewife statement thing, it says she's committed to 3 things this new year: giving an impact statement at Matt's upcoming trial, which I really hope she does, celebrating 1 year with Travis at their happy home with all those kids, and not going overboard with new hairstyles. Whew, let's hope she sticks to that one. Wow, for Bronwyn it says she celebrated 1 year of sobriety with her new 29-year-old girlfriend Chris, and while she and Shari no longer speak, like, what the hell happened there? It says Sean is still standing by his wife's side. Sean, do whatever you have to do. I hope he's finding his happiness as well. So for Elizabeth, it says she continues to work through her past with the therapist, which I'm very thankful that she's doing that. And with her substantial divorce settlement, I mean, wouldn't we all like to know what she got? She's officially one of the richest women in Newport. I'm sure it was like hefty. She was holding out for a long time, so it's gotta be big. So for Shannon's, it says Shannon's relationship with John is stronger than ever. I hope so. It says, and while this Una Amiga still enjoys time on the beach, she now leaves the electrical tape at home. Please stop taping your stomachs. Please don't do that. So for Emily, it says after her hip replacement, Emily decided to remove her old implants. She also lost over 20 pounds, get it girl, and gained a whole lot of fun, Emily, in the process. And that's it. That is it for season 15 of The Real Housewives of Orange County. Now we just have to wait for the reunion, which the reunion will probably come out before this video. So we'll see. But hopefully it's only like 1 to 2-parter. We do not need a 3-parter for this season at all. We probably don't even need a 2-parter, but we're probably going to get one. But that's the end of the season. I really hope they make some good changes to the cast next season, because this was so short and people just were not interested, and it just needs to get better. This is like the OG of all Housewives, so it definitely needs to improve. But let me know what you thought about this overall season in the comments below. Please like this video and hit that notification bell to be in the know when I release a new video. And subscribe if you're new here. I would love to have you a part of Second Key TV. Stay safe, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.